All right, shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters, your brother Kazakya, and we're here on the Shabbat with my Isha, my family, which they're not on the camera, so they didn't want to be on the camera, so I want to go ahead and share what we were talking about. You're going to hear voices in the background. You may hear her, my Isha, say something, but we're dialoguing on the subject of a new thing, and what we had stated prior was that many people in the religious affiliation, primarily where we came from, the church, have this saying that, I'm gonna use their language so that you can be with me where we are, understand where we're coming from. God is going to do or is doing a new thing. Okay. And a lot of times when they say God is doing a new thing or going to do a new thing, they don't understand what they're saying when they say God is doing a new thing. So we were just talking about that. What does it mean? Is that something? Why do people say that? And why do people say that God is doing a new thing? And they've been saying that since I was a kid, 20 years ago, people saying he's going to do a new thing. So what is that new thing they're talking about? Okay. Feel free to input. This is now, I just want to say this for those of you who may happen to see this, who may be family members or loved ones. Don't take this personal. Just take this as a challenge, right, to your belief system. I don't want you to get comfortable. See, the problem that happens with a lot of us is that we get comfortable where we are. We don't want to be challenged, or we don't want to accept anything different than what we already believe, because if anybody challenges our belief system, it makes us uncomfortable. So we want you to be comfortable with truth, not comfortable with what is familiar to you, but comfortable, excuse me, I have a little problem with my speech right now, but being comfortable with what is true. Okay. So, let's see, before I go to, something just came to my mind. Let's go to Galatians, and we're going to read something here, then we're going to go ahead and get into that subject we're talking about. Galatians, I think it's 5. We talk about, no, it's not Galatians. I take that back. Philippians 4. I think it's Philippians 4 is where I want to go. So we got Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Colossians, and then Philippians and Colossians. So chapter 4. Okay, so let's just read the one verse there. Philippians chapter 4. Let's read Philippians chapter 4 and 6 through 9. Okay, Philippians chapter 4, verse 6 through 9. We're going to read that. Okay, you want to read it, or you want me to read it? No?
4, 6 through 9.
Yes.
Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving let your requests be made known unto Yah. And the peace of Yah, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Yahshua. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are good of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things.
Mm-hmm.
Those things which ye have both learned and received and heard and seen in me, do, and the Elohim of peace shall be with you.
Now that's a mouthful right there. Anything you want to say about that we just read? I mean, that in a nutshell, brothers and sisters, is what the new thing we should be focusing in on. That's the new thing. Now, we get into the lesson right now, but I was going to show some things that the Most High talking about the new thing that he was going to do, right? Because you're on point when you say he's going to do a new thing, but it's unclear because the new thing that the world, church world, is talking about is, what'd you say it was earlier, the new thing that they talking about, material things?
I mean, I guess that's a question we would need to ask because, ask them.
Well, because, okay, I'm thinking now, I'm not going to play the devil's advocate because I'm not into that. People use that phraseology, don't know what they're saying. They're giving credence to the satanic power by saying I'm playing the devil's advocate. But I want to think for those and in that mindset. And when you say, well, what do you mean by, what's your thought process when you say he's going to do a new thing? Okay. Maybe those that are in the prosperity era, their thoughts is I've always been poor. So now the new thing is that now I'm not going to have to want for nothing.
Or a greater anointing.
Okay. A greater anointing to do what?
Exactly.
Because see, okay, first of all, we have to identify and to define what is anointing. Okay. Because people say, I'm looking for a greater anointing. So we have to identify, maybe we'll do a lesson one day on what is the anointing.
And when a lot of people say that, they have their ministry in mind.
Okay.
He's taking my ministry to another level, to a greater place.
So in other words, they're saying I'm going to reach more masses of people, or reach more people, or I'm going to have more people in my network that I minister to, or that I may be the prophet to, or prophetess to, or whatever the case is. Those people call me when they want to hear a word. Is that what that means?
Could very well. Are we talking about bringing glory to the Most Father, or something that's going to make you stand out more?
Okay.
And,
So what does that thing mean when you say a new thing? Because the Most High already revealed to us what. Now let's go into the Tanakh, and we're going to dig a little bit, because I gave you the answer. Now we're going to go and we're going to show you how the answer is prepared. So let's go to Numbers 16, Numbers chapter 16, and the highlight verse is verse 30. But we're going to go to Numbers chapter 16. Okay. Okay, let's start at verse 28. Numbers chapter 16, and let's start at verse 28.
And Moses said, Hereby ye shall know that Yah hath sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of mine own mind. If these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then Yah hath not sent me. But if Yah make a new thing, and the earth open her mouth and swallow them up with all that appertain unto them, and they go down quick into the pit, then ye shall understand that these men have provoked Yah.
That's heavy. Does that sound like judgment?
Yeah, it does.
So the new thing that, if you look at this whole chapter in its entirety, and we don't want to go and make an extended version of this, but if you read this whole chapter, chapter 16, it's talking about the rebellion of the people, right? Matter of fact, let's just read a little bit of that. Let's start at verse, let's read verse 1, 16 and 1.
Now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan, and Abiram, and sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men, and they rose up before Moses with certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation, men of renown. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said unto them, Ye take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and Yah is among them. Wherefore then lift ye up yourselves above the congregation of Yah.
Now stop there. So you see, Moshe back then represents, what does Moses represent? When most people think of Moses in today's, right, he was the leader. But when most people in today's New Testament Christian mindset, what does Moses represent to them?
What, their pastor, their overseer, their bishop?
Okay, yeah, but
Spiritual father.
the spiritual father, but he represents what?
Their master?
He represents, I'm looking for a specific word. The
Lord. The law?
The law. That's what Moses represents, the law.
Okay.
Right?
True.
He represents the law. So in this story, the people didn't want to keep the law. So that's why they rebelled against Moshe, because they felt like that, we grew up in Egypt, we served the gods of the Egyptians, and we was living good. We want to be like a part of the world. We want to be included in the world, right? So Moshe represented the law to them. So they rebelled, just like in today's time. Any person, a prophet, true prophet, let me say this, a true prophet of Yah is going to point people back to the law of Yah. A false prophet of Yah, and don't be offended, this is the truth. A false prophet of Yah is going to prophesy things that's going to tickle people's ears to make them feel good.
Feel good and give them money.
Okay. All that the people want to hear is what the prophets of Baal does. Right? The prophets of Baal, or, and don't get offended now when I say this, but the prophets of the Lord is equivalent to the prophets of Baal, who, because if you remember, the prophets of Baal or Baal, if you like that better, they were the ones that was teaching the children of Israel that you do not have to obey the Most High. You don't have to obey the Most High's laws. You don't have to obey the Most High's commandments. You don't have to obey the Most High's statutes, because we're not under that law no more. See, it all goes back to the law. The rebelliousness of the people, and no, don't be distracted, because my grandchildren over here, but they are here learning the way. Okay. All right. And sometimes in learning the way, you may become a little bit uncomfortable. But the work of Yah has to still go on. We still have to serve Yah. We have to teach our children. But anyway, so Moshe represents the law, and the people that rose up against him said in verse, what was that, verse 3, where you said, he put, that he lifted himself up. Read verse 3 again.
And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said unto them, Ye take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and Yah is among them. Wherefore then lift ye up yourselves above the congregation of Yah.
See that? So they was telling Moshe, look, nah, you make yourself, you think you better. You try to make yourself above. Now, in today's society, people equate those of us who attempt to keep the law of the Most High. They say you put yourself above Jesus. Wouldn't you say? Jesus nailed all that to the tree. When you're trying to keep the law, you crucify Jesus afresh. Something like that along those lines. So it's the same spirit today that was back then. Just they're not using the literal Moses. They're using what Moses represents, which is the law. You see how that worked? Most people would never thought about it in that particular vein, but that's what it is. So they rose up against Moses, literally, who represent the law in the nation of Israel. Today, people rise up against those of us who are law or commandment keepers with the doctrine of grace and say you're not under that law, but we're under grace. And I keep saying we're going to do this lesson called Grace in the Law. We're going to show you that. So prayerfully, we'll get to that. Okay. So now, where'd you leave off at? Did you read verse 4?
No. And when Moses heard it, he fell upon his face. And he spake unto Korah and unto all his company, saying, even tomorrow Yah will show who are his and who are holy, and will cause him to come near unto him. Even him whom he hath chosen will he cause to come near unto him. This do, take you censers, Korah, and all his company, and put fire therein, and put incense in them before Yah tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom Yah doth choose, he shall be holy. Ye take too much upon you, you sons of Levi. And Moses said unto Korah, hear, I pray you, ye sons of Levi. Seemeth it but a small thing unto you that Yah of Israel have separated you from the congregation of Israel, to bring you near to him to do the service of the tabernacle of Yah, and to stand before the congregation to minister unto them.
So stop there. So these are ministers. Okay, these are people that are under the cabinet of Moshe, the pastor at this particular time, the prophet that the Most High used for the nation of Israel. These were the ministers that the Most High gave to him for the services of the tabernacle. Okay, go ahead. Now we got that clear.
Verse 10, and he hath brought thee near to him, and all thy brethren, the sons of Levi, with thee, and seek ye the priesthood also. For which cause both thou and all thy company are gathered together against Yah. And what is Aaron that ye murmur against him? And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, which said, we will not come up. Is it a small thing that thou hast brought us up out of the land that floweth with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, except thou make thyself altogether a prince over us?
See that? So stop. So now they thought the prophet Moshe was trying to put himself above the people when all he was doing was redirecting the people back to the Most High. That's just what the people are saying today. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, when it's a true leader, that's exactly what you can be accused of.
Okay.
Verse 14. Moreover, thou hast not brought us into a land that floweth with milk and honey, or given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Wilt thou put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up. See that? So now they wanted Moshe to prophesy to them smooth things. Right? What did it say? They wanted him to prophesy to them milk and honey. They wanted him to prophesy to them what? Their inheritance and the fields and all that. And the Most High had already promised it to Israel. But it was a conditional promise. Okay? All right, but we're not going to go into that. Okay, go ahead. And Moses was very wroth and said unto Yah, respect not thou their offering. I have not taken one ass from them, neither have I hurt one of them. And Moses said unto Korah, be thou and all thy company before Yah, thou and they and Aaron tomorrow, and take every man his censer, and put incense in them, and bring ye before Yah every man his censer. 250 censers, thou also and Aaron, each of you his censer. And they took every man his censer, and put fire in them, and laid incense thereon, and stood in the door of the tabernacle of the congregation with Moses and Aaron. And Korah gathered all the congregation against them unto And Korah gathered all the congregation against them unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the glory of Yah appeared unto the congregation. And Yah spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, Separate yourselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment.
See that? See that? Okay, go ahead.
And they fell upon their faces and said, O Yah, the Elohim of spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin, and wilt thou be wroth with all the congregation? And Yah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the congregation, saying, Get you up from about the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. And Moses rose up and went unto Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spake unto the congregation, saying, Depart, I pray you, from the contents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, lest ye be consumed in all their sins. So they gat up from the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram on every side, and Dathan and Abiram came out, and stood in the door of their tents, and their wives, and their sons, and their little children. And Moses said, Hereby ye shall know that Yah hath sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of mine own mind. If these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then the Yah hath not sent me. But if Yah make a new thing, and the earth open her mouth, and swallow them up with all that appertain unto them, and they go down quick into the pit, then ye shall understand that these men have provoked Yah.
See that? So that's the new thing. The new thing was the Most High was showing them righteousness from wickedness. The new thing was judgment was going to come with the quickness upon the rebellious people. You got something? So that's the new thing. All right. So the new thing is the same new thing that's happening in today's time, where the new thing is that people who rebel are returning back to the Most High to obey the Most High in all that He said. That connects with Deuteronomy 30, right? Let's go to Deuteronomy 30.
So the new thing is nothing grand, and
Right.
it's not something afar off that you can't understand.
Right.
It's not superstitious.
Right. That's right.
It's
That's
not
right.
spooky.
And that we're gonna read that. We're gonna read that. We're gonna read that. Okay. All right. So 30. Read verse. We're not gonna read the usual we read. Okay. The beginning of that. Okay. Yeah. We guess we can. Let's go ahead and let's tap on. Let's read 1 through 6. Deuteronomy chapter 30 verse 1 through 6.
And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither Yah thy Elohim hath driven thee, and shalt return unto Yah thy Elohim, and shalt obey his voice, according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul. That then Yah thy Elohim will turn thy captivity, and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither Yah thy Elohim have scattered thee. If any of thine be driven out unto the uttermost parts of heaven, from thence will Yah thy Elohim gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And Yah thy Elohim will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And Yah thy Elohim will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed to love Yah thy Elohim with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live.
Okay. Now, if you want to keep reading that, you can, because he's going to tell you what he's going to do to all those that hate you when you return to him, which is that new thing, right? Which that also connects with, he said, I'll write my laws in their hearts, right? Okay. That's the new thing he's talking about. Okay. So now when we return to the Most High, verse 8, verse 7, the Most High says what he's going to do to the enemies. Okay. Go ahead and read that one.
And Yah thy Elohim will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of Yah, and do all his commandments which I command thee this day. And Yah thy Elohim will make thee plenteous in every work of thine hand, and in the fruit of the body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and the fruit of thy land for good. For Yah will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy fathers. If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yah thy Elohim, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which are written in this book of the law, if thou turn unto Yah thy Elohim with all thine heart and with all thy soul. For this commandment which I command thee this day is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven, that thou shouldest say, who shall go up for us to heaven, and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it. Neither is it beyond the sea, that thou shouldest say, who shall go over the sea for us, and bring it to us, that we may hear it and do it. But the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, that thou may doest it. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil, in that I command thee this day to love Yah thy Elohim, to walk in his ways, to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. And Yah thy Elohim shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it.
Okay, that's good. That's the new thing. See? The new thing is tied to the repentance of the rebels, and then the restoration of the nation of Israel, who was scattered.
And when we do that, we'll see true change.
And we'll see true change.
In your life, in the life of people around you.
Absolutely.
That's when you will begin to see it.
That's the new thing.
But until then, we're talking about a new thing, but there's no manifestation of it.
Right.
How come you were talking about a new thing last year, 5 years ago, and you're still talking about a new thing today?
Right.
Where is the fruit? Why is the manifestation of this new thing held up?
Now let's go over to this is putting putting the nail to the coffin. All right, let's go to Yirmiyahu. Okay, I think it's 31. Okay, let's see. Yirmiyahu. Yep, it's 31. Sure is. Okay, 31 verse 27. This is the new thing. Okay.
Behold, the days come, saith Yah, that I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah with the seed of man and with the seed of beast. And it shall come to pass that, like as I have watched over them, to pluck up and to break down and to throw down and to destroy and to afflict So will I watch over them to build and to plant, saith Yah. In those days they shall say no more, the fathers have eaten sour grapes, and the children's teeth are set on edge. But every one shall die for his own iniquity. Every man that eateth the sour grape, his teeth shall be set on edge. Behold, the days come, saith Yah, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Now, according to the covenant, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, saith Yah. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith Yah, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in on the tablet of their hearts, and will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know Yah, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith Yah. For I will forgive their iniquity and will remember their sin no more. Thus saith Yah, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. The Yah of hosts is his name. Keep going.
Yeah.
If those ordinances depart from before me, saith Yah, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. Thus saith Yah, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith Yah. Behold, the days come, saith Yah, that the city shall be built to Yah from the tower of Hananiel unto the gate of the corner.
Okay, that's good. All right. So now the Most High said he going to have a new covenant. That's the new thing. Right? Now, Christendom would have us to believe that the new covenant has already come, which it hasn't. Why you say that? Why you say the new covenant hasn't come? You don't believe in Jesus? That's what people would say, right? Okay, first of all, we're not going to go into the usage of the name Jesus. I'm going to be nice. For this particular second and instance, we have to handle business, so just bear. You got to redirect something. But anyway, so as we read, when the Most High said that I will make a new covenant, right? We're gonna break this down so that the children can understand it. Okay, the Most High said, what verse was that where he said, "Behold, I will make a new covenant"? That's verse 31. So it's 31:31. I like those doubles, 31:31. It's easy to remember. Okay, 31:31. All right, go ahead. Behold, the day comes, says Yah, I will make a new covenant with the church. That what it say?
Nope.
I will make a new covenant with the Word Church. With
Nope.
With the Methodists.
Nope.
With the Baptists.
Nope.
With Church of God in Christ.
Nope.
So he said, I will make a new covenant with who?
The house of Israel.
So now, you ask yourself a question. Are we in a new covenant yet? We'll continue to read. Because it's going to self-explain itself. I don't have to interpret anything. You can read it for yourself and see. So he says that the new covenant is not with the New Testament church, which was birthed on the day of Pentecost, which we have a lesson where we can show you that the day of Pentecost had nothing to do with the birth of the church. that the church, that if we want to use that word church, the church is Israel. When you understand that Israel is the church, then you won't use this narrative in Acts chapter 2 to say the day of Pentecost was the birth of the Christian church. That's what we was taught. But that's not what that's taught. That's not what historically that represented, and that's not what it represents today. That's a fabrication of a truth. So we are not in the new covenant on that basis, because this is talking about I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel. And this is talking about the literal seed of Israel, not a spiritual Israel. We're talking about the literal seed of Israel, the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Okay. So he said he will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, or properly Yehuda. Okay. Then he says, verse 32, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt. So what is the covenant that he made with them in the wilderness? Right? He gave them the written instruction that we call the law or Torah. So the new covenant is self-explanatory in the self-same verse. If we continue, he says, the covenant which I made with them, their fathers, in the day when I took them by the hand to bring them out of Egypt, which my covenant they broke, although I was a husband unto them, says Yah. Verse 3, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. Right? He give you what the covenant is. Okay. He says, let me read it again for those of us that may be slow. I'm going to include myself in it. He said, this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel, not with the Church of God in Christ, not with the Baptists, not with the Methodists, not with the Catholic, not with the Jehovah's Witnesses, not with the Mormons. Who else did I leave out? Not with the Nation of Islam, not with the black Muslims, not with the black Hebrew Israelites, not with any other group, but he said the house of Israel. This is not a religious thing. This is a covenant thing, right? He says, I will make with the house of Israel after those days, says Yah, this is a covenant, will put my laws in their inward parts. Now, check this out. How do we know that the laws are not in our inward parts? Is there any indication how we would know that the law is not in our inward parts? Why?
I mean, you know, the law is within our inward parts. You know it by a person's lifestyle and how they live, how they talk.
Okay.
Is that what you're thinking?
But what I'm saying is, how would we know that this is not fulfilled? Because you said, I will put my law in their inward parts.
Okay, because, you know, as you stated earlier, a lot of people don't believe that we are under the law.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And now I'm actually asking a question that's already addressed and just continue to read it. So he says, I will put my law in their inward parts and write them in their hearts, and I will be their Elohim and they shall be my people. Right? And here's how we know that we're in a new covenant, that this is fulfilled, because the next verse says, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor.
This is the millennial period.
Right. So when we are walking Torah is when this is fulfilled. Mm-hmm. As long as we need somebody to instruct us, as long as you are tuned into YouTube and whatever other medium that we use to get our lessons from, we know that we are not in the New Testament. Because he says here, they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and everyone man his brother, saying, Know Yah, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, says Yah, for I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sins no more. See that?
Yeah. We can't say that that's come to pass.
It hasn't come to pass.
When you look around at the state of the world and everybody.
It hasn't come to pass.
They don't all know him.
Amongst those of us that are believers, it hasn't come to pass. Mm-hmm. That's why somebody asked the question, well, why are there so many different variations of belief systems among Hebrew Israelites? Because we are not in the new covenant. We're trying to get back. So the more we read and the more we study and the more we practice, right? See, when the new covenant comes in, we won't even have to practice the law. It just it's like second nature. You get up and you like a good prime example, Yahshua was a fulfillment of that. He is the new covenant. And so that's why when Shaul said, follow him, Yahshua, Shaul, the Lord calls Paul, follow me as I follow the Mashiach, right? Because the Messiah was a living example of this new covenant. That's why we say he is the new covenant, but he was rejected, right? It says in Isaiah 53, he was despised and rejected of men. Our forefathers didn't embrace the new covenant. They rejected it. And since they rejected it, right, he says, now I'm going to postpone it to a later day. Right? So in those days, I'm going to write my laws in their hearts and in their inward parts, and they will not need anybody to teach them. Why would you think that a people would not need anybody to teach them? This is one of Brother Bowie's babies. He liked to teach on, because we during the kingdom will be, using the English word, gods. And a god or a judge is who we will be in the millennium. We don't need nobody to teach us because we are in the seat of judgment, right? So we will have the position that the Most High gave to us from the very beginning. Let's go to Exodus 19. I'm gonna tie this all together. And prayerfully, you all getting something out of this. This is a new thing. This is the new thing the Most High is doing. Don't you fool yourself thinking some new thing going to be some new revival taking place. It is going to be a new revival, but not the revival like you're accustomed to, where people being slain in the spirit and all of that. And, that's what people thinking about. We're going back to the days of old where deaf people going to be coming, walking all through the doors and all of that. Okay, yeah, that's true. We're going to show you what we're going to read that too. Okay. All right, let's go to Exodus 19. And start verse 1. Exodus 19, verse 1.
In the 3rd month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. Mm-hmm. For they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount.
You stop there. Now, Egypt was a literal place, and Egypt is a spiritual place. Egypt, I'm going to say something that's going to be different than what most of y'all used to hear in the Hebrew Israelite community. Egypt is not America. Let me see that again. Egypt is not America. Brother, why would you say such a thing? Egypt is the place of bondage, which is all the places where the children of Israel have been scattered. You can't leave nobody out. We can't just make Egypt be just about North America. Huh? Because the Most High, all of what he spoke was not pertaining to North America. It was pertaining to the nation of Israel, which he said, I'll scatter you to the four corners. So Egypt is all the lands where we are held captive and we are in bondage and we are serving other deities. Some of us never left our land of Israel. That's shocking too, huh? Having gone to Israel, I can attest to that. There are some Israelites that never left, that they blended in with the people and tried to pass themselves on to be Canaanites and Egyptians and Ethiopians and the whole 9 yards. Okay, so that teaching needs to be tweaked. Israel is not just in North America and Jamaica and Cuba and Haiti and Bahamas and all of that. Yes, we're here, but we've been scattered all across the globe. There's some Israelites in China, in Japan, right? In France, in Russia, in Germany, all over. We were scattered to the four corners. That's what the Most High said in his prophecy, right? So Egypt is a place of bondage that Israel could identify with. And America was the worst captivity, but it is not the only captivity of the children of Israel. Okay. All right, go ahead.
And Moses went up unto Yah, called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me among all people. For all the earth is mine, and ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before their faces all these words which Yah commanded him.
Okay, that's good. So now, what did the Most High tell Israel? He told the nation of Israel, if you obey my voice, just like he said, see, it's a repetition, brothers and sisters. The Most High told the nation of Israel back then in Egypt, right, in the wilderness, just like he is telling us today, right, in the wilderness, same thing. It's a repetition. What he told them back then is what he's telling us now. If you will obey my voice, right? And he said, if you will obey my voice and keep my covenant, keep my commandment, or keep my covenant, right? Remember, we just read in Jeremiah, the Most High said, I will write a new covenant. Here he says, if you will keep my covenant, which we broke, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all the people, for all the earth is mine. So he said, if you keep my covenant, right? And when Israel broke the covenant, what is the breaking of the covenant? What do you think the breaking of the covenant is? The breaking of the covenant is when Israel went into whoredom and committed spiritual adultery. That is the breaking of the covenant. When Israel went into spiritual adultery. Okay? That is the breaking of the covenant. Okay? That is the adultery, and that is the whoredom, and that is the thing that caused the Most High to divorce the nation of Israel. Let's let that sink in for a second. Israel broke the covenant, the Most High said. But here he said, if you keep my covenant, just like he's saying in today's time. The restoration we read in Deuteronomy 30, when he said that in the lands where we will be scattered, that we will return to that covenant, which is the beginning of him giving us the new covenant, which is what my Isha just said so clearly, which is the millennial age, or the second coming of the Messiah, where we will rule and be walking Torah. At this time is when we will have shed our immortality and have put on our mortality. Let me say that. I say that backwards. We will shed our mortality, right, and put on our immortality. At that time, we will be just like the angels. We will have the ability to disobey, because we will be walking Torah, just like the angels. They can't disobey. The ones that disobey the Most High, He reserved them. But we will be just like the angels. And that's what Yahshua said. They asked him, who in the resurrection, who's going to be their husband and wife in the resurrection? And then Yahshua said something about they are in the resurrection, they're neither given in marriage or married, but they're like the angels. This is what he's talking about. This is what he's talking about. Because we will be eternal, right? Eternally righteous. Only those that will be marrying during the kingdom age are those that have not been changed or transformed, those that are left and remain. And that's a whole nother lesson in dealing with prophecy. There are going to be people that are going to be left and remain, that are going to be here after the Messiah comes back, and we be changed, those of us who are part of that remnant, and those that are also part of the other nations that are a part of that nation of Israel. Okay. So here in the wilderness, the Most High told the nation of Israel, if you obey my covenant, right, verse 5, and if you obey my voice and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all the people, for the earth is mine. So that's the covenant that Israel broke. They broke the written covenant. So the Most High said, I'm going to make a new covenant where I'm going to write the law in your inward parts and in your hearts. And you won't need nobody to teach you. Why? Because you will be changed, and you will be the teachers to those who are left on the earth and those who are going to be born in the kingdom age. Otherwise, what we see here is a parallel of the future. If Israel had accepted it right then, the Most High wanted to, at that particular time, I'm using my spiritual imagination now, had them change right there. They would have been changed without, just like we're going to be changed today. Those of us who are alive are not going to taste death. Mm-hmm. You don't think the Most High would have changed them right then? Put them into an eternal body, let them be changed, and let them be the judges at that point in time if they accepted it? That's what the Most High wanted to do. So he told them, bring them down. Okay, let's continue to read that, because this is a juicy chapter here, and we're gonna see what all the Israelites did. So you left off at verse 7, was it, or 8?
You want me to start?
Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna continue to read, and then you pick it back up. Okay, so we left off. Okay, now let's skip down to verse 6. He said, and you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests. Okay. Now in Revelation, right, when the seventh trumpet sounds, right, the Most High at the last trumpet, the seventh trumpet, when the trumpet sounds, he says, then the kingdoms of this world. Let's go and read that first. I don't want to. Let's go and read Revelation. I think it's 11. Just to make sure, I'm going to look it up. But I think it's Revelation 11. Okay. It's Revelation 11. Revelation 11 and 15. 11, 15. Okay. is the Ruach is bringing it back to my memories. I thought it was 11. Okay. Revelation 11:15. Okay. All right, go ahead.
And the seventh angel sounded.
The seventh angel sound. Now, the seventh angel is what seven is the last, right? The seven trumpets of sound. So the seventh is the last because it's only seven trumpets. Okay, go ahead. Seven angels sounded. Go ahead.
And there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Yah and of his Mashiach, and he shall reign forever and ever.
See that? So the kingdoms of the world, you know, it's interesting that the world sings this song. They call it Handel's Messiah, where they had this verse that says, the kingdoms of this world, right, is become the kingdoms of our master. Actually, it should read, the kingdom of this world are become the kingdoms of Yah or Yahweh and his anointed, the Messiah, Yahshua the Messiah. And he shall reign, right? So the kingdom of the world have become the kingdoms of Yah's, the Most High's, and of his anointed, the Messiah, the Mashiach, who we rejected when he came the first time in the flesh through 42 generations, who's coming back to the earth to be what? To be the ruler over the nations. That's why he said the kingdoms of this world have become the kingdoms of Yah and of his Messiah. See, King James says there, the kingdom of our Lord. Well, who was our Lord? Yahweh. And of his Christ, or of his anointed, the Mashiach, right? And we will reign with him 1,000 years. See how that works? So this is all tied to the new thing, brothers and sisters. Now, let's go back to Exodus 19:6. You shall be unto me a kingdom of priests. See, he was going to do that then, but since the nation rejected it, we had to go through a whole system of rebellion and captivity and oppression to go back to a place of being reinstated to the Most High, for him to do what? To bring us back under the bonds of the covenant, to do what? To be gathered back with the Mashiach, and then to do what? To now be changed so that now we are walking and living what the Most High originally gave us in chapter 19. We had to go through, how many years is that? 6,000 years? To get to where the Most High wanted us. It took us 6,000. It's taken us 6,000 years to get back to verse 19. To go through all of that to get back to verse 19. We could have just did it right then and call it a wrap. 6,000 years of death and depression, oppression, compression, suppression, depression. Did I say depression? All of that. Death, hatred, pain, suffering, all of that. We go through all that because we reject. We're going to show you, okay? So verse 6, second half, he says, a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which you shall speak unto the children of Israel. So here's the question I ask. And for those Hebrews that say salvation is for Israel only. If your theory is correct, who were we going to be the priests to at this particular spectrum of time? If he said, I'm going to make you a kingdom of priests and a holy nation, who we priest to? Because if we back up, he told Moshe, let me back up because somebody's not getting it. And I hear in my spirit, somebody is watching this is not getting it. So I want to back up. Okay. The Most High said to Moshe, he said, say to the house of Israel and tell the children of Israel. See, So the children of Israel included everybody. Huh? It included the direct sons and daughters and their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren, if they had any at that time. These were all considered to be the children of Israel. So the Most High said to all of them, I'm going to make every last one of you the house of the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel. Even the little children, the babies. He said, if you obey my voice, I'm going to make you to be a kingdom of priests and a set apart nation. Now, verse 7. And Moshe came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their faces all the words which Yah commanded them. Okay, now verse 8, I think, is where you left off. Okay.
And all the people answered together and said, all that Yah has spoken we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto Yah. And Yah said unto Moses, lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto Yah. And Yah said unto Moses, go unto the people, and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. And be ready against the third day. For the third day Yah will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. And thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about, saying, take heed to yourselves, that ye go not up into the mount, or touch the border of it. Whosoever toucheth the mount shall be surely put to death. There shall not an hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through. Whether it be beast or man, it shall not live. When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mount.
All right.
And Moses went down from the mount unto the people, and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning, that there were thunders and lightnings, and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that were in the camp trembled. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with Yah. And they stood at the nether part of the mount. And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because Yah descended upon it in fire. And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long, and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and Yah answered him by a voice. And Yah came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mount, and Yah called Moses up to the top of the mount, and Moses went up. And Yah said unto Moses, go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto Yah to gaze, and many of them perish. And let the priests also which come near to Yah sanctify themselves, lest Yah break forth upon them. And Moses said unto Yah, the people cannot come up to the Mount Sinai, for thou chargest us, saying, set bounds about the mount, and sanctify it. And Yah said unto him, away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, thou and Aaron with thee. But let not the priests and the people break through to come up unto Yah, lest he break forth upon them. So Moses went down unto the people, and spake unto them.
Okay. So now, as I said, this was the first fireworks, the first world-renowned fireworks. We hear all the thunder and the lightning and the smoke and the sound of the trumpet. This all was a similitude of the last trumpet, right? The trumpet they heard, the trumpet that they heard was the last trumpet. There was no need for the other 6 trumpets, because the nation of Israel was in place. So the sounding of the 7 trumpets is to prepare Israel to get in our proper place. So when the last trumpet sound, boom, we're suited up and we're back in Exodus 19 where we're supposed to be, where the Most High called us to be a nation of priests, a kingdom of priests and a set apart nation. Okay. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So now when we go to chapter 20, we're not going to read it. The Most High gave the Decalogue, we call the 10 Commandments. And I want to read the verse after that. After Israel saw the verse 18, after the Most High gave the nation of Israel, this fly is bothering me. I'm about to whack him. But after Israel saw the, let me just pause for a second. Pause for station identification. But after Israel saw, verse 18, and all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood far off. So now, Israel, the nation, when they saw the fireworks and heard all of the thunder and lightnings, they ran from the Most High because of fear. But today, when people hear the lightning and the thunder and the lights, they run to it because it's an act of disobedience to the Most High because we're under grace. Isn't that interesting? We saw the lightning and the thunder after the Most High told us, I'm going to make you to be the people, the greatest people on the planet Earth. We ran because look, he says, the people saw the thunders and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet. That's verse 18. And the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood far off. They ran. And the people said to Moshe, verse 19, speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not Yah speak with us, lest we die. Now, why did they have that fear? Think about that now. The Most High told them, I want you to be a kingdom of priests. Why would they think that he's going to kill them? Why would anybody in their right mind think? I'm going to tell you the answer, but I just want you to think about that for a second. Why would people, after hearing the instructions of what the Most High was going to do and make them be all they want to be on top of everybody, why would they not want that? It's one word to start with an R.
Mm-hmm. Rebellion?
No.
No?
It requires, right, responsibility. Mm-hmm. Because Israel, to be that people, had to be committed and be responsible to the nations. Mm-hmm. Just like today. Most African Americans and Negroes don't want you to tell them they're Israel, because once they find out that they're Israel, now it starts them thinking, if we Israel, then there's some requirements from us. And we can't live like them. We have to be the example, and we got to be responsible for this creation. Because you've given us a charge to be a nation of priests. That means that we got to make sure these people do right.
They didn't really want it. It wasn't in their heart.
And we got to do right, and we got, like Mike said, we got to want this thing, right? We got to want it, right? So now, the people said, let not the Most High speak to us. Let's speak to Moshe. Just like our people today. My pastor. Let my pastor teach me, right? I don't want to get this word. I want to go to church on Sunday, and I want the pastor to give me what thus said the Lord. And that's all. I'll give me a little lesson to read during the week. And that's it. I'll come back next Sunday and do the same thing. I don't want to be responsible. I just want you to give me what I want and make me feel good. Give me a few promises, and I'll come back next week with my tithes and my offering. Right? All right, let's go one more place and we're going to close out. Let's go to Ezekiel. Okay, we're still talking about the same subject, the new thing. I said the new thing. Okay. Ezekiel chapter 37. Yes, indeed. Okay. Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 1, and it reads as follows. You got it? Or you want me to read it?
Okay. The hand of Yah was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of Yah and set me down in the midst of the valley which was full of bones and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Yah, thou knowest. Again he said unto me, Prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of Yah. Thus saith Yah unto these bones, Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live.
Stop for a second. So now what do we see here? We see Genesis 1, and when the Most High, when man was just lying there, he was just dead, and then the Most High did what? He breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. So when you look at the African American Negro community, what you see? Death all across the board. Okay? You see a few people that's got some wealth, and that's all part of Deuteronomy 30 prophecy. But then the masses of the Israelite nation you see full of death. Okay? And then the Most High said to the prophet Ezekiel, he said, can these bones live? We're looking at the African American community during the Donald Trump age, and we're saying, can these bones live? And the problem, we got to say to the Most High, Yah, you know whether or not. And when we say that to the Most High, then he would say to us what he said to the prophet Ezekiel. He said what to do to him. Verse 5.
Saith Yah unto these bones, Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. And I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am Yah. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came upon them, the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them.
Stop. So now, this is also a shadow of, not only is it a shadow of the physical, spiritually deaf Israel, but it's a shadow of the physically deaf Israel, that the Most High said he would gather them if there be any in the outermost parts of heaven, which is the graves or the part of the earth where we were buried. The bones are going to come together. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 9, Then saith he unto me, Prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, saith Yah of hosts, Come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that thou mayest live.
See that? So Israel was scattered to the four corners or four winds, and now that the messengers are prophesying to the four winds, north, south, east, and west. Okay, go ahead.
So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army. Then said he unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say, Our bones are dried, and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our parts. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, saith Yah of hosts, Behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am Yah when I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you out of your graves. And ye shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then shall ye know that I, Yah, have spoken it and performed it, saith Yah. The word of Yah came again unto me, saying, Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah and the children of Israel his companions. Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel his companions, and join them one to another into one stick, that they shall become one in thine hand. And when the children of Israel thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, Wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, Saith Yah of hosts, Behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel, his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in mine hand.
So now, just so you understand, if you're watching it, that don't read the Old Testament, in a nutshell, the Most High divided the nation of Israel when King Shlomo, the son, or Solomon, help you out here, King David or David, right, the son of Jesse, Yeshai, what became the king over the whole nation of Israel, and had a son named Shlomo or Solomon. And you can read this in 1 Kings chapter 11. He had was it 700 wives and 300 concubines, something like that, 1,000 women. And he made places of worship on the hills to their deities. And they turned his heart against the Most High. And the Most High cursed the nation of Israel and told him, I'm going to take these tribes out of your hands and give them to your servant, and I'm going to save one kingdom for your father David's sake, or David's sake, which is the nation, the southern kingdom called Jerusalem or Judah. Okay, so since that time, the nation of Israel was divided from north and south, and then the northern kingdoms went into Babylonian captivity and never came back. The southern kingdoms went into Babylonian captivity, and then they came back out of captivity as prophesied in the book of Daniel, chapter 9 and 10, okay? Which takes us to here, where now the Most High says, now I'm going to take that two nation and I'm going to bring them back under the one nation. Okay, that's where we are here. Okay, go ahead. Now, where did you leave off at?
Verse 20.
Verse 20.
And the sticks whereupon thou writest shall be in thine hand before their eyes, and say unto them, Saith Yah of hosts, Behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whither they are gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all. And they shall no more be two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all. Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of all their dwelling places wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them, so they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim. And David my servant shall be king over them, and they shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt. And they shall dwell therein, even they and their children and their children's children forever.
Forever.
And my servant David shall be their prince forever.
Forever.
Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them. And I will place them and multiply them, and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forever. More. My tabernacle also shall be with them. Yea, I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And the heathen shall know that I, Yah, do sanctify Israel. when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore.
See that? So that's the new thing. That's the new thing the Most High is doing. That we are expecting, we are anticipating, and we are actually seeing the birth of it taking place right now. Little by little, the children of Israel are coming up from their graves. Right? Some of them, the bones are coming together. And some of them, the flesh is coming together. The identity part is coming together, but there's still no life in them. So what is life significant of? The spirit of Yah. And what is the spirit of Yah? It is his nature. When the spirit of Yah comes into Israel and it goes from being a people of identity to being a people of covenant, we won't have a hatred to Esau, any other people that don't look like us because of what they took us through, because anyway, it was the Most High that allowed them to whoop your behind. Mm-hmm. So who should we hate? Not our oppressors. We should hate ourselves, our forefathers, for their rebellion. And if we continue to rebel and to walk in their path, we should hate ourselves. But if we pick up this book and we identify that we Israel, the bones come together, right? Flesh come together. And we see now, oh, I'm starting to see a little bit of hope here, right? See, the problem that we make as a nation is that we're trying to integrate when the Most High has told us to separate. So when all these pagan festivities come around every year, we're trying to integrate it into our lifestyles, right? When the Most High call us out of Egypt, not into Egypt. He called us out of Egypt. Okay. So prayerfully, that's all I have to offer. I mean, you got anything else? So the new thing, prayerfully you have a new understanding after watching this, however long this dissertation was. An hour and 25 minutes, that you got something out of this and you have a different viewpoint of what it means to be doing the new thing. And I want to, Maisha, she's here with me. She's not in the camera, but she's right next to me. I want to extend an invitation for those of you who live in the Maryland Eastern Shore area. If you want to join us, or if you're close, if you're in the Western Shore, Baltimore, or extending parts, if you want to fellowship with us, we're in the process now of seeking the Most High, of making a physical place where people can come and just meet with us on the Shabbat. But in the meantime, we'll just continue to do as we've been doing, which is meet with our family here in our home on the Shabbat, growing in the knowledge of the Most High. So that's all I have to share. That's all I have to say. Maisha, have anything she want to say off the camera?
Shalom.
So she says shalom, and I say until the next time, may the blessing of the Most High Yah be with you and your family. Shalom, shalom, shalom.